to City Courtyard Garden. It's the closing stages of July, and this month has been quite a fruitful one. So come and join me as you see what happens this month. Well, it's American Independence Day, 4th of July, and I'm just nipping out between the showers of rain. Yesterday it's brilliantly sunny, today it's not, but hey, look at these raspberries, and these now have started to ripen really quickly, again like the others. So I'm going to spend some time picking some raspberries. I've already picked a load, but they are prolific this year. And then I'm going to get some black currants as well. There's a few on here left, and make use of the dry period. Here's the harvest I've picked today, but with the others I've already put in the freezer over the last 2 weeks, it's getting quite a large harvest. And there's still little bits and pieces to take off the bush even now, or the bushes. A little bit more about loganberries. Now, these things send out new shoots that go on forever, it seems. This little critter here will be going much further by another 3 weeks. The trouble is, when they touch the ground, they propagate. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this one into a pot, so it will grow out of a new pot, and I can start somewhere elsewhere or give one away. Now these corns are somewhat distressed at the moment because they've been attacked. And here's the assailant. Here he is, big brown slug. And down here, snails. Now, if we weren't so squeamish, we'd be probably collecting these to eat. But no thank you, not for me. So, he's going. Now I'll pick it off with a tissue paper because of the thick slime that they exude, and when I wash my hands afterwards I couldn't get rid of the slime. So he's going. Now this is what I enjoy at this time of year, looking across the patio, is that this rather forlorn looking garden becomes quite a colourful affair at this time of year. We are 1 week into July, and the garden looks really splendid. Interestingly enough, these tomatoes still haven't turned into a fruit, still blossoming, nothing much happening. I wonder why. But there are some little successes. Have a look at these French beans in here. That one's been chomped away a bit. But well, they're coming along. We start picking those and start eating them like, for little bits of produce from the garden. That's lovely, isn't it, eh? We have some French beans here, which is really rather nice. And in the square foot garden, over the top, looking down towards the onions, they're looking particularly good. And these have nearly gone over now, these dwarf beans, and these over here, so I think we'll be taking those up in a minute. But these leeks, so are they Zermatt? Still looking good. Now the plan for this was to grow it upwards, and apparently what you do is you take off the stalks at the bottom once the courgette has grown, and you can see it is growing upwards. What a splendid looking plant it is. Compare it to the one on the patio.
Here's the one on the patio. The leaves are not as good, and it's not growing quite as efficiently as the other. Bit of a shame. The peas, still a major problem. Yet we've got some growth going up the pole, but I know that they could go overnight, especially these little showers of rain. Meanwhile, the beans in the old pot on here seem to be struggling on. Not an abundance of flower, but never mind.
Interestingly enough, this sweet pea, or the sweet peas here, are the seeds I gathered last year. So excellent, isn't it? The seeds we bought were chomped away. So keeping seeds is a good idea, it seems. Okay, they're not proficient, not in profusion, but hey, any little success is worth noting, isn't it? Around here, this massive, great big hydrangea. Gosh, we've got to do something about that. It's enormous. To brush past it every time you come out into the garden. At first you might not see anything except for a wall. Oh, it started to rain. But here we have an orb spider. Oh, I can't get it into focus. Now, he will be growing to a very large spider in the next month, and by September he will be quite big. It's a shame I can't get him into focus. The potatoes are at their best at the moment. Now what's going to happen is that they will go over, start to wilt, and once they've died back a bit, that's when it'd be time to pick them. In fact, some of those leaves at the edge are showing signs that they are ready to go over. My wormery, hey, this is really working now. It's really starting to work wonders now. Very good quality of worm tea at the bottom there as well. I'm really pleased with that one. Well, the fruit bushes have nearly completed their work. There's only a few bits of fruit left. The raspberries are still producing, but it's in the last little bits of fruit to be picked. Just a little bit further on, the loganberries have finished, but I'll show you what I've done in a minute. Looking around further in the garden, I'm afraid it's been a disaster again. Anything I've grown, I have now dug up. In my two plots at the end of the garden, you'll see they're quite empty now, except for little bits of grass in between the plots. I've dug up everything. In the closest one here, we have, what I've done is to put in some potatoes. I've got reds at this end of the plot, which are seeds, but I hope will come up because they're not particularly new seeds, so we'll see what happens. But they're in strips, in paper strips, so I've put plenty in. Hopefully there'll be a crop for Christmas. And on this side I've put in some Maris Pipers. As to what to do with this further plot, I just don't know yet. I have been pondering on that one and I haven't come up with a solution. Maybe I'll come up with something in the next week or so, but we'll see. Coming closer, you can see the cold frame, and what disaster again. It's those slugs. They've absolutely macerated everything in there. So bad news all the way around. Coming over to the potatoes over here, well, I've taken out the potatoes now and they weren't too successful either. Again, it was slug damage. Well, for a season's work, very disappointing. These onions are not very big, neither are the garlic, but hey ho, they're better than nothing, I suppose. There's a few more back here, but they're even smaller than these. Well, it's pretty well the end of the soft fruit season now. I've pretty well picked it dry, and I want to see how much fruit I've collected over the last 4 weeks. First of all, we have the raspberries. Oops, and we've picked 1.5 pounds. We've picked the black currants, and that's, well, 1.75 pounds. And the loganberries, never quite so productive as the others, we're about 3/4 pound. Altogether, we've got about 4 pounds of fruit. Owing to the slug damage again, look at this, on these sweet corn, I have taken to using slug bait. I'm sorry, but I have. This has been war. Everything I've tried has not worked, and it's played havoc with these plants as well. Thank heavens for minor successes. This is a pot of beetroot, which once it's growing a bit more, I'll start to thin out. But in the meantime, we've got some lovely vegetable salad leaves here as well. So that's a thing to be looking forward to. And the few that are left will grow into large beetroots. I think it's about time to have a look at these garlics here. Look at this. I think this is about ready, don't you?